Hey, what's up, it's Rashad.
And this is Keisha.
Hanging with the Joneses, episode 76.
I'm back.
We just back last week.
Don't act like we haven't been gone for a minute.
All right, let's just act like we're being consistent. So, episode 76, new topic today, and this is something I found on Threads. Do you know what Threads is? No, you don't.
A chain of
Wrong
videos.
All right, good job.
That's
no,
what Thread is.
Not in this case. Actually, Threads is a new social media app made by like the Meta, like Facebook, Instagram, and it's kind of like Twitter, but almost.
Oh, no,
It's a text-based social. It's not like Instagram where it's pictures or Facebook where it's like, it's more like trending things driven, stuff like that. So as soon as they get like a trending page, like I'm off Twitter altogether, done. Because it's not even Twitter no more. Did you know Twitter changed their name to X?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I was about to say.
It's black and white. The X's and white.
Yeah. Okay, all right, about to say. Anyway, so I was on Threads last week, and I found this interesting post by, in fact, let me pull it up so I can get the dude's name. Dude's name was Therapy Jeff, and he's an LPC. What does the LPC stand for?
Licensed Professional Counselor.
Yeah, and he's basically saying that the notion of you can't love someone until you love yourself is BS. And I found that very interesting. I'm gonna leave the link to the thread in the post notes, and just so you can see his whole reasoning behind it. But off of just like just seeing that as the headline, how do you feel about that? Because I said I wanted to do this topic, but we hadn't talked about it.
No, we haven't. I've really been pondering upon those things when I saw the link. I don't think I believe it. Nope. And did you go? Okay, and the topic was what he discussed is that you don't have to love yourself to love other people, and kind of that premise right there. And then he goes into details how sometimes children or other relationships can teach you how to love. I kind of was like half in, half out. One, to love, no, you don't have to love yourself to love. However, doesn't mean that love is appropriate. We have a lot of domestic violence who they would say that's out of love. Doesn't mean it's appropriate. Doesn't mean it's healthy. So I do believe for at least a basic foundation, you have to love yourself first. Because even in those situations, he say your child or the other people that can come to your life and teach you how to love. However, when they leave your life, where do you stand? Thoughts?
I don't because I saw it and I try not to have like knee-jerk reactions to things because in case you guys don't understand how the internet works and how engagement works, that is the entire point. You know what I'm saying? To get you feel a certain way about something that's very black and white, very A, B, and there's only one or two sides to pick. And then you pick your side, and then you engage with the thing, and then all of a sudden you're having an argument with this person that you don't even know about, somewhere across the world, and y'all going back and forth. That's how engagement works. So I didn't want to do that, and I listened to the whole thing, and there's a point where he's essentially trying to say you have to be able to develop what love is, and basically give yourself enough grace to learn what love is. And in the process of that, hopefully you can be able to love somebody else. And just to be the antagonist to this, I do understand that kind of purview of it, because even in like a regular relationship, there's some aspects of love like I just did not understand until I actually had to utilize that side of love, which I hadn't been tapped before. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that I totally agree with that because having an understanding, because my counter is this. Let's say you're in this relationship with this person. I don't love myself like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of self-hate. There's some self-loathing going on. There's some self-respect and self-esteem issues that I have. but I'm in this relationship with this person, and I quote unquote love them. Is the person, let's say, are you going to be fighting our entire relationship to try to teach me how to love myself, when in return you need some sort of reciprocity when it comes to that love? And I think that was like my counter, because I'm like, I get what you're saying, and what you're saying makes sense. It's a very logical thought. When I think about it now, it is a very male thing to say. You know what I'm saying? But I don't necessarily agree with the whole notion of like, yeah, you can't really tell, like, okay, if I didn't love myself, if Rashad didn't love Rashad, there's no real way that I could love Trakisha. Like, it really wouldn't work.
And then being an example for children, how can you demonstrate what love is to a child if you don't have it in you?
It's almost like he's saying, because you get the kid, all of a sudden the love is going to appear.
They can show you how to love. No, a child come the word blank. They don't have those emotions yet. They start to develop it, especially for a father. When a mother is pregnant, we start our bonding with our child. In turn, with a father, fatherhood doesn't necessarily start until after the birth. But motherhood may have started once the conception is started. You know what I mean? So once the seed was planted, we're a mother. Fathers may not have that same concept or feel it the same way. How can you love something when you don't love yourself? I still feel like you have to have a basics foundation. And what he's using that as is in therapy, he's saying we need to move forward in therapy. We should no longer teach that you have to love yourself, but that it's okay. You can love other people and not love yourself.
And the thing that I don't like about some of these arguments is not the fact that he said it. And then, like, again, I agree with some of it. It's the fact that the blanket statement is made and then there's a caveat added to it. Because he's more like, how you can say this when somebody who has like self-esteem issues or have like mental health issues, how can you say that they don't have love or they can't love them?
I think those two different things too.
But again, that was...
one can have a mental health issue. One can have low self-esteem and still have some kind of love for themselves.
Yeah.
Especially, I was talking about this with someone else about women. I'm saying because I'm a woman, I can speak better on this. Like, we might all have something that we don't like about ourselves. That doesn't mean we're absent of love because maybe we don't like that area in ourselves. We might have a basic foundation, but if I just had that fixed, I would be okay. And I was talking about this with someone, like with women, and Rashad gets me on this, it's hard to take compliments. And usually, I have experienced that if you tell a man, oh, such and such nice, it's thank you. You tell a woman such and such nice, they're like, this old thing I found in this store, I had to, like, they're going to give you all the wrongs instead of saying, oh, thank you. And to me, so low self-esteem, some of it, I believe you can have low self-esteem and still have some love for yourself. Maybe not fully, but it's low. It's low. It's not existent. It's just low. And you definitely can have mental health issues and still have love for yourself. I mean, there's whole mental health issues that's based out of you think you just the bomb. Narcissistic personality disorder. There's some mental health disorders where it's even, be honest with you, bipolar. That the whole concept of it nothing can be wrong. Nothing, even with schizophrenia, some of it is too, depending on the person. It's the whole thought of nothing is, I'm right. Nothing is wrong.
So it's just interesting how this whole, like, for me, again, how social media works. So like after I watched this little video, then I started going in the comments and seeing like people just agreeing with the thing because it's this phenomenon known as confirmation bias, where somebody will say something that sparks a feeling or a notion that you had, and then it's like, oh, yo, somebody else said it. It's definitely right. And I think that in and of itself is a very like dangerous thing. Yeah. Because if you are looking for your biases to be confirmed all the time, then you're not really open to a new thing. On a counter to that, this is where like I just had to challenge myself because like I'm like this don't really line up with what I believe. So I try to make myself open to the opposite of what I think, because it's not good just to have this one track mind about stuff and not be able to say, hey, like, okay, this kind of goes against my thinking and my reasoning. Let me at least be able to hear said thing out so I can form a better opinion, or I can start gathering some facts, and just so I can be a well-rounded communicator about a subject.
So even, I'm just using the analogy, okay, one doesn't have to have love in themselves to be able to love. Now let's put it to something physical, something we touch. Let's say it was a car beat down, don't have an engine, don't have any gas. So you're going to tell me it's still going to be able to drive and work the way it's supposed to work when it's beat down, don't have the gas? How does it work? It has to be taken care of. It has to be filled up. It needs something. So even if a car has a little bit of gas, it can still go. But if there's none there, you don't have anything to work with. And your whole relationship is just going to be having to prove to that person that you love them, or have to keep filling them up, which they may or may not have the tank to receive.
No, that's a really good analogy. I just
The way it's awesome.
like, nah, that really made sense, because you silly trying to fill somebody else up. And using the gas analogy, like you just investing money into buying gas. Gas high right now. So you steady throwing money into this thing, and you're investing your time, your effort into something. If they don't have it to give for themselves, like, yo, you get tired of going out to eat with people who ain't got no money.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they expecting to eat, but when the check comes, they're like, oh man,
Right. It's nothing there. It's nothing you can't. So what do you draw from? I know in a relationship to be healthy, interdependent, but if you don't have anything for me to draw from, it's not going to be interdependent. You're going to be dependent on me, which eventually is going to take away from other, which is going to leave the other person well dry. It's only but so much you're going to be able to give. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that a person can't grow, but they have to show initiative to grow and be willing. And I even go back with love and with spiritual. I go back to the word. If you don't let God define what's love for you, we're gonna have a problem with love, period. Because and we discovered this later on in our marriage, that we're sitting at the altar, both of us having different definitions of love in relationship and husband and wife. But one who doesn't have love, we don't even have that to kind of develop.
Nah.
It's not there.
Yeah, because you're just living off of hope.
Let's hope you have that.
Because on paper, the idea that I'm saying you got to be able to love yourself, it's a real correct thing. And I think what kind of annoys this person was the fact that they feel like, hey, like we're not giving the people who don't have enough love like a fair look at how their lives are and whatever. He even said that the phrasing was kind of like reductive to a point, which it is, because it's a very simple like adage to a certain respects. But in reality, there's no way that I could truly love other people if I didn't understand and actually like love myself to a certain degree and respects. Because if there's no reciprocity within me, how am I going to be able to reciprocate love to anybody else?
And let me tell you, for history in counseling, mental health, when the person doesn't have that love and relies on someone else to bring that love to them, when that partner leaves, when that partner transitions, may pass away, it leaves that person depleted, and oftentimes then that person suicidal or have suicide attempts, because that person drew from a source, and that source is no longer there. So what do I do now? I can't, there's nothing for me to help me go on, because that's my source of energy, my source of love is now gone. So you still have to have some kind of love for yourself. And that's the thing, even the concept, like, we need to stop saying that. It's all right for you, especially in a relationship, to be like, nah, I don't think you love yourself. We don't need to do this. It's okay. You don't have to just accept people. I want to be careful. I'm not saying that you shouldn't accept people, but you can have standards and say, this is the type of person I want to date, maybe marry, have a family with. You don't have to, because they're so nice. If you see that there's no love there, I can bank on it. It's going to be a hard time trying to have a relationship when there's no love. And now I'm looking at how much you love that person. There is going to be one-sided because the person doesn't have it.
Yeah, and when it comes, especially to something being one-sided, you already feel like, yo, this ain't really fair to me. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I feel like you really don't even love yourself, so how can you even love me? Like, there could be a lot of this and that when it comes to somebody who is just, like, lacking, like, self-love. Like, as a matter of fact, we did a lot of talk about this. What does self-love look like to you?
For me, self-love is be able to honestly look at myself in the mirror, is be able to take care of me. To me, self-love and self-care is they're cousins.
Synonymous?
I wanted to say cousins. I know what I said. It's be able to say is they're cousins. I believe you can't have one without the other. So self-care is self-love is taking care of me. Self-love that even if you're beside me or not, if I'm in a relationship or not, I know my value and I know what I bring. I don't need you to confirm that or hype me up or bring me up. I know what I bring. I know my worth. How about you?
Self-love for me is just really being able to be okay with just me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the first time I really had to kind of even, like, retrospectively, like, look back at it, the first time I had to really deal with that, I would say, was when I was in college, and I really had to, like, be by myself. That was, like, when I went to Massachusetts for the summer. Mm-hmm. And I really had to learn how to be okay with just being me. Like, my uncle was there, but, like, I was still trying to find work and do stuff, and he was doing his own thing. So there was a lot of time. I had a lot of time to myself. Mm-hmm. And understanding the difference between being lonely and alone, like that really made me understand and actually learn to appreciate just me and myself as a person. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I even go self-love, being patient with yourself. If you made a mistake, it's not the end of the world. No, the stuff I would tell other people, being able to apply it to myself. Because you'll find a lot of people is really nice and encouraging to other people. Oh, you did something. Oh, it's okay. We can fix it. Yeah. But when it comes to themselves, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Kind of going that rant. So being kind to yourself, being patient, being kind to yourself. So I consider that self-love, being kind to myself. And I believe you have to demonstrate that yourself in order to receive what you want. Yeah. And then to me, it's the notion too in this video that love is it just comes. Sometimes this love, and especially between a relationship, it's work. It is work. So love is not just going to, okay, you have a child and just all of a sudden, boom, love's going to show up.
And I'm guessing that's that whole over time, like, develop notion. But
what's over time though?
But that's what I'm saying. But if there's,
how long is that?
I mean, we agree, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if there is no foundation of that at all, then there's nothing to really build on. You just, it's shaky ground, and then all of a sudden, 10 years later, your house of cards falls down, and it's like, well, what was this thing built on?
That's like building on potential. And I always say potential is you expect something that's coming. However, every time I say, like in marriage counseling or just counseling, what did you see? Well, I saw he or she had potential. Potential for what? Because he or she showed you A, B, and C. Where did Z come from? Because that wasn't in their trajectory. And did that person know that this is the potential you saw in them, that you thinking this was going to come to fruition? This person, like, that's not even on the track I'm on. You talking about ABCs? I'm on 1, 2, 3. You know. So to me, it's like I always tell people, don't build on potential. If it ain't something you can see and that's out right there, and especially if you haven't discussed that potential with your partner and you're on the same page about the potential, let it go. It ain't potential. That's what that is getting a relationship, building on love out of potential. Potentially, it may be fully grown, but also by potential, it cannot happen as well. It can go both ways.
Yeah, that sound like love at first sight. Married at first sight.
Married at first sight.
Oh man, that's crazy, man. That's. I mean, but I don't really understand. Yeah, and you always say you can't marry potential.
I say you cannot marry potential. Can't get in bed with potential, because potential is your perception. Doesn't mean it's the partner's.
Whew, yeah, it can be rough trying to differentiate, especially when you may just be infatuated with said person and you heavily pursuing, but you're not really looking at the big picture of a thing. And it can be scary doing that. So like I get it. This having the ability to know yourself, understand who you are, and love yourself, the fact that those are hard, very hard things to do. Not only are they hard to do, that also changes over time. So you have to be very aware of yourself to know that, hey, today this is how I love. This is how I love myself. That over time that may change and evolve and morph into something else. And your partner having the grace to realize and understand that, or even you having the awareness to even see that it's happening. And those aren't easy things. I think that's just like normal human development over time. Like we change.
And then even I would look at too. If you're always in a relationship where you have to be the provider, the provider of love, and you have to teach to someone, what is the need to always feel needed? Why do you feel always get in a relationship where you have to feel needed? If you're not needed, it doesn't work. Or why are you in a relationship where you always want someone taking care of you? Because if you look at love is an outward thing. You can see when someone loves themselves, whether it's in the way they look. Even if someone dressed fly, sometimes you can look at them like, ooh, something ain't right. It's in the way they take care of themselves. You can tell when someone usually have low self-esteem. It's going to come out. You can't hide that. What would make you say, I'm attracted to him, I'm going to help him or her? So are you feeling like you get in love because you need to be needed? You need to be wanted. And then in my relationship, if I gotta be Captain Saber person, it's already an imbalance.
You can say her.
No, I don't say that. I don't say that. But if I gotta be there, if I gotta come to the rescue on my little white horse, there already is an imbalance, and we need to explore where is that coming from. Where I always need to save someone, and then he or she, always need to be saved.
I feel like that's a topic for another day.
I'm glad you shook it.
That's really all we have for this time.
With the handshake.
You know what I'm saying? I think you guys are coming back to this particular podcast. I appreciate that. Me and Tony will be back tomorrow, rewatching Rebel Season 3, getting ready for Ahsoka on the 23rd. That is it. Thank you for 2 weeks in a row. You're doing a really good job. I wasn't doing all that, pal.
I was.
But yeah, man, that's it, man. Until next time.
See ya.